Welcome to the Back 9 Six-Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 19 of the Back 9 Six-Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. You had a near-death golf experience today?
Yeah, I almost got deleted off of Earth from a major league pitcher smother hooking a ball. And a near-death experience for sure.
The Waffle House didn't get you Saturday, but it almost got you today.
It was like a fast moving. This thing was, I mean, look, Luke's a big boy. Like, this thing, it was probably moving at about 192 miles an hour. This thing, it was a complete blur by the time it got to me, and I got absolutely deleted. So
it was smothered, covered in pepper.
Oh God, it was yeah. I mean, I don't know how fast the 6'4", 245-pound man can hit a ball, but it was about as hard as he could hit it, and almost deleted me. So,
well, I'm glad you're here right now. That garage beer, I'm jealous. The Tall Boy Lime Garage Beer has got to be a major key.
It's top notch. Get these open real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
They don't pack as much of a punch as the Gold Tops, even though they do have Gold Tops on them.
I went with the pull pack High Noons the other day. This is a peach one.
Not peach, bad. Probably not bad. I like peach flavor things. I don't think I'd ever eat just a peach. That sounds weird.
That's like the total opposite.
Really? I don't know. Peaches, the whole peach pit thing, it's kind of weird.
I love peaches, but the problem with peaches is like they're just not practical, right? Like they're so sloppy.
Dude, they're so sloppy.
Nectarines are even worse.
Yeah,
but both are delicious, but yeah. Anyway. Other than the near-death experience, you played in the Joe Nuxall Foundation event today.
Yeah, my first time playing in it.
Highlights? Anything else fun?
I hold out on 8. I told you guys that. I hold out on 8. That was fun. Got a lot of high fives, some cheers. We missed a lot of putts. It was kind of wet from the rain in the morning, and things just weren't breaking like they normally do. I was overreading everything, and then everybody was questioning whether I actually played golf at this golf course a lot. No, other than that, it was good. I mean, you get some. I think I texted you guys this. I was like, the odds of who I'm going to play with, and ended up our quote unquote celebrity was a guy by the name of Chris Nickteen. Pitched for the Reds, pitched for the Rangers. He was kind of all over the league as a reliever. Super nice guy. Went to Elder High. He actually grew up in Cincinnati. Went to Elder High School. But I got a chance to talk to some of the young guys, some of the young pitchers for the Reds, Andrew Abbott and Brandon Williamson. He played right behind us. Super good. I mean, like I told you before we came on here, it's like they're so new to the league. Like they don't care. Like I was just up on the putting green. They'd overheard that I'd won the club championship, and they're like trying to figure out. They're talking to me to figure out a way how I could get on their team and stuff like that. But it was super nice guys. It was a great event. They had massive amount of volunteers, which is always a good thing. You never go without a drink. And they did it right. Tea gifts were good. And we had fun. So
nice.
Golfing on a Monday. Can't really beat that.
No, can't beat that. I don't even know how to start with the next thing we're going to get to.
The Saturday. What's a good starting point for Saturday? Let's start in the beginning. Because you guys came shot out of let me rephrase that. You came shot out of a cannon that we lit the fuse, but it didn't like shoot until the second hole.
Yeah,
because after the second hole, you were shot out of a cannon after on the second hole.
Yeah, we bogeyed our first hole today, which is the second on the blue course, and then ended up before that rain delay happened or the storm delay. We got it to 4 under through 8 in best ball, so we were feeling pretty good.
Yeah, you guys were rolling.
And then after that, we made the turn to all. It was
like a slow. I think from an outsider's perspective, you guys came shot out of a cannon. You made the turn 4 under through 8. We're turning to alternate shot.
Yep.
And it was just like a slow death. Like you kind of were like living on the edge. Like you hit it. I don't think you realize how good of a chip shot you hit on one.
Oh, I realized. That was one of the best chip shots of my life.
But, like, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, this is either going to be what you did to about a foot or 6 inches.
Or I'm going to slay the sod on it.
Or you're going to have another chip shot.
Yeah.
and you hit it to like 6 inches. So you're like, you guys were living on the edge. You know,
Yeah.
your partner gets away with a skull fuck on the second hole.
Massive key.
And somehow it stays like on the back fringe, like 10 feet away.
Yeah.
And then the
hole
next
3
hole
happened.
You know,
which,
you guys 4-putt.
A 4-putt in alt shot that's special.
It's a low for sure.
Now, oh God.
Let's talk about how your guys' round went, and then we'll
jump
mine.
to you. Okay.
We get to the third hole of alternate shot, which is what your guys' 11th hole of the day, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. 9, 10,
11th hole.
Short par 3. Guenth is way short. I hit it. It was close to pin high left, maybe a little above the hole, but it was like, what, 35 feet?
Yeah, it's about. Yep.
So the pin's in like the front right. The speed of Guenth's putts for the day had been a little bit of an issue. So this is where I think you could say like things were kind of bubbling, right? Like there was potential for collapse.
Yeah. So I guess I'm going to tell you the timeout there.
Okay.
As an outsider, and we were discussing this in our cart, we were like, his speed on his putts are going to become a problem in alternate shot.
Okay.
And this was on when we were 4 holes into the best ball.
Yeah.
Okay. Continue.
Now, that said, he also made some just electric putts on the day.
He did.
So it was
He did.
high ceiling, low floor.
Yeah.
And he's going to listen to this and he knows this is all unconditional love. He left the first putt. How short was that? 8
feet? Let's see. Yeah, it's about 7-8 feet. Yeah, that's fair.
And it was back, and it was down the hill.
We had like 10 feet for birdie, and you guys were like just inside of us, essentially. Not a different angle, but you were just inside of us.
He really didn't leave it short so much as like way above the hole and left.
of it,
it just didn't turn down like I guess he thought. I missed that putt.
You ran it by what?
It was like 2 feet.
Okay. Yeah, that's about 2.5 feet. It was probably fair.
Guenth catches the lips out. Story of the day for us, honestly.
Should have marked it.
He a little bit of. You're right.
Taking your time.
No process there. We just got up and tried to hit it home. Didn't go in anyway. 4-putt for double, and rightfully so. We were agitated, but you know he gets up there and thinks he snipes it out of play on the tee. So I laid one out in the fairway, but we got lucky and had like a 30-yard chip shot on a par 4 because
he just.
Path. I think he hit path and it got
truck
down
fucked
there.
it.
Yeah.
That was a 295-yard 4-iron or whatever the hell he had.
So anyway, we missed that birdie putt, safe par. Gets up on 5 and hits a smoked 7-iron from like 190
to 7 feet.
7 feet. I missed a stupid putt. But whatever,
you
we're fine.
Found your feet.
We're stabilized.
After the double, you found your feet in an alternate shot.
And we're like, okay, we can get this back. Get a par 5 coming up.
Because I think alternate shot is all about momentum. Like if you are playing, like if you have a couple good holes, it kind of carries you through. Even if you get some stress going, it kind of carries you through. Like we're playing good. Like this is just a little bump in the road.
Because if
it starts going bad, it can start really going bad.
While all this is happening, you guys came out, shot like out of a cannon on old shot.
We did,
and we're making some birdies anyway.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Hole 6. And this is probably where we can stop the hole by hole, but
this is we just had to build it up to get to this point.
The wheels just absolutely blew
This was
off.
the end of your guys' day.
Yes, and we knew it.
And not so much from a standpoint of like, I mean, you probably were out of the tournament at that point, but like just from a mental aspect that you guys were absolutely toast after, rightfully so. I mean, no one's going to do what you guys did on this hole and come out of it feeling good.
So before I even do the shot by shot here, I just want to say this. I made a decision error for us that led to swing errors or golf errors, if you want to call them that.
It led to what happened, for sure. And
I'll get there when I get to it, but everyone will understand that understands golf. All right. Guenth flares his tee shot a little bit right, catches a tree just short of the creek.
In play.
Still in play.
Yep.
I toe hook one up the left, trying to play safety dance and not just bonus. Also in play, totally fine. I go to hit his ball. It's modified alternate shot, so you hit 2 shots and then select from there. Catch a tree, trying to go up over him, and it comes to rest just off the fairway, like 180 away. Guenth, I'm trying to I wanted to hit 4-iron. Because
get
I
a ball
thought
up there to 100 yards, 120 yards.
I just thought the dispersion and the potential for error was way less with an iron for him.
And with the hazard that comes in on the right,
Sure,
you're not getting to that hazard if you hit a 4-iron.
And it should be said, the wind was pretty strong in the face and a
us.
little bit coming from left to right.
Yep.
So he hits 4-wood. He loves 4-wood. I never argue with him with 4-wood because it's usually a money club.
He usually hits that well.
It just kind of squirts right on him, gets behind some trees, and it was 90 yards out.
Not totally fucked, though.
No, 90 yards out.
You had to go low.
There's a tree to the right and a tree to the left between us and the green. You can hit a punch shot from there.
And the gap that you could have hit it in was, 15, 20 feet wide? Like, it wasn't like you were trying to fit it through like a 4 or 5 foot window.
There was definitely a punchable window for someone. I would have been hitting the shot. I could have done it for sure.
Yeah.
My error, I realized, was I was thinking purely about the upside of birdie. And I did not consider
just getting
downside.
out of here with par. Taking your medicine, hey, we hit a couple bad shots. Let's just try to find a way to make par.
Yeah, I didn't consider how bad it could get from the shot. We ended up taking the shot from 180 out because I thought it was our better chance to have a birdie putt. Because the punch, we wouldn't have done what we did, but I don't think we would have made birdie with the punch shot.
No, very slim chance you make birdie unless you make a really good shot.
Remember, I just said...
zero chance you make more than a bogey.
Right. Guenth he'd been hitting his irons pretty good, honestly, for most of the day. And had just stuffed one on 5 from 190. So I'm like, all right, I got faith in my guy. Wind does him no favors. He clubs up because of it, which I talked him into. Squirts right, catches path, into the hazard.
Yeah, and
there's no drop.
It's just going to be a tough drop regardless of what happens.
There's nowhere to drop because the path is right there, and it's all rocks and dead mulch and all kinds of bullshit. It sits on top of some fluffy shit. I flub the chip into the bunker. Guenth skull fucks it across the green.
He's the worst bunker player in the world, and I can say that, knowing he will admit that.
I get it out of the bunker, but the problem is the pin's on the opposite side of the green, and it's straight downhill, so it didn't matter where I landed that thing.
You would have had to land this thing a foot over 6 inches over the lip of the bunker for it to even have a chance.
Yeah, and long story short, I ended up making probably a 5-foot bender of a putt for a 9. Day over, quad on a par 5. Like I said, I'll own this because I think, I was only looking at the upside between the two shots and didn't consider the downside. And clearly, we should have taken that punch shot. I think that that was the play.
Most you take bogey, and you're probably not taking par or birdie, but you're not taking more than 6.
No, and you even were like, "Hey, you want me to go get that other ball?" When we were up there talking about it,
we could not believe.
Yeah.
We're sitting in the fairway. Finally, when you said no, we're thinking about it. We could not believe that it was even remotely even in the discussion that you were going to take that 180-yard shot.
Yeah.
I asked Ryan, I said, if those two were our balls, we wouldn't even talk about it, right? We would have just picked the 181 up. He's like, oh, yeah. He'd have been like, no, we're not doing this, and go and hit the punch shot.
Yeah, and it just was things were moving quickly, and I was only thinking about birdies at that point after the double. It was just a mistake on my part.
Yeah, we couldn't believe it. We were sitting there stunned that it was I can't believe they're doing this. And then it's I saw him hit, and I'm like, okay, it sounded like good contact. And I saw it drifting right. I'm like, oh, this. I said, and that is why you get as close as possible to the hole. It doesn't matter what kind of shot you're hitting. Unless you're directly behind a tree or on a tree root or something like that, you want to be as close to the hole as you possibly can.
And honestly, if it had just gotten into the hazard, which was just mown down tall grass, we probably could have been okay.
Yeah, but it took one hop
launched
and went
into the gulch
yeah.
that's there, and there's just no hitting it or playing it from there.
But that was the end of your guys' day. So mentally,
that
probably
said,
score-wise.
We did birdie the next hole. It was a sick 9-3 on the card.
Average of 12. So, his average 6 over 2 holes after taking a 9. So
just unreal.
Yeah. But that was pretty much the end of your guys' day.
We didn't do anything special on scramble. We had a bogey on a par 3 and then
Guenth
a birdie.
made some, like we said, Guenth made some putts. Some slippery putts that...
the putt that I dripped in on 4 on white was...
Yeah.
That was,
and then the one he made
nasty.
on 7 white was pretty delicious, too.
I just been over laughing. I almost just laid down on the green, like straight up. I was like,
that's
how?
the same guy that just missed a 2-footer like not even 11 holes ago.
Just crazy. So yeah, we were just never really in it. I think we wound up like with the net scoring and stuff. I think we were like 4 under overall, just 10 shots back of what won, so not even close. But like I said, we threw away probably 3 to 4 shots just on the old shot. So.
For sure. Yeah, so we were kind of the opposite. We kind of limped out of the gate. I told you, I don't like starting on best ball. I want to start on alternate shot where birdies aren't expected. Pars are probably more expected. Kind of get your feet underneath you. But we started on best ball, and I hit my first tee shot in the water. You know, it was like, oh, here we go. Like, this is how today's going to be.
Yep. Then made par a 3 for 4 on a par 3.
The next hole, I'm giving up a shot to the course and hit a pretty good iron shot in there to like 20 feet, and I had to give up a shot. Ryan missed the green. We make a bogey. Now we're 1 over, and I didn't play particularly well in best ball. And then our last hole of the day, we looped back around and finished our last best ball hole, and we both pumped one out of bounds. And ultimately, we thought we were going to be pretty far down in the pack. Like, we didn't think we were. Ultimately, I made birdie after hitting it out of bounds, and if I didn't hit it out of bounds and made birdie on my first ball, we would have came in second place.
Well.
No, sorry, no, third place. We would have came in third. We'd have sold to third place. But we ended up making bogey. But, I mean, alternate shot. Okay, so we'll go to 1 on alternate shot. Because that's when fuck
right.
My partner, by the way.
Hold on. No. Well, we're timing out. I'm standing up for Ryan here for a second.
So
wait, before you even start, I forgot to mention, we had a weather delay in the middle of all this.
We did. That was your guys' downfall, by the way.
Which absolutely cooled our fire. No.
It did. It smothered your fire. It kind of gave us a chance to like collect ourselves.
I should have known because it was on a par 5. We're in the middle of the fairway. Guenth pumped one. Hits us
and
after.
Honestly, he actually hit a pretty good shot.
He did, but then the 3-putt, because the greens are wet, it's hard to judge, but he had a downhiller, he runs it by, the whole thing. And that's kind of where we started leaking oil after we got iced for an hour.
Yeah, that rain delay was bad for you guys and good for us.
Yeah. Now, anyway, back to hole 1.
So we get the hole, so we make the turn. I think we're even par on best ball after as shitty as we played. And we get the 1 red, which is our first alternate shot hole.
Also, just for those who were following along, this is the first hole of the shootout in the Stampede.
That I lost the ball on.
Correct.
And the day before, it was the same wind. I hit it onto the green. But the difference between Friday and Saturday is I didn't have a negative fuck standing behind me, judging me for the club I was hitting on Friday. On Saturday, I did. I had some asshole. I could feel the negative energy coming off of him as I'm about to tee off. And guess what happens? I do the same fucking thing that I did in the shootout. I hit it right, and it went into the heather.
All right, hold on. We're going to reenact this. I'm going to be you. I need you to make a golf club, like a contact sound.
Okay, here, you ready?
Oh, my God, I did it again. Ryan, it's you.
That was exactly.
Quote.
I was like, Ryan, it's you. You and your negative fucking attitude towards this club. That was the exact quote.
I about died laughing. I was like trying not to laugh because I know you were pissed you hit it out. But I was like, this guy just pumps an OB and is like, oh, it's definitely not his fault. It's Ryan's fault.
And then I blamed him. And then the worst part about it is he's sitting in the middle of the fairway. This time he's in the middle of the fairway. There's no question of whether his ball's like good or not. And we're sitting in a fucking 3-inch deep hole in the middle of the fairway.
That was tough.
But after that, we make par there. I drained like a 30-footer on the next hole for birdie.
Yep.
We hit another one. He hit the one to 7 feet on par 3. Should have made it, missed it.
Mm-hmm.
We par, and then the long par 3, I hit it to like 6 or 7 feet from 215. Missed that. And then we go birdie, birdie, birdie. So we're 4 under. And then it turns out that making one of those par 3 putts would have tied us for the low alt shot.
Yeah.
But we still shot 32 on all shot, and we're like, look, we've got momentum. We're 4 under in our last 5 holes. Get on scramble, birdie the first hole, birdie the second hole, birdie the third hole. He stuffs one to like 6 inches on the third hole. And we're like, holy shit. Like, we've got like, okay, now we're... Sorry, we actually made the turn on best ball at 1 under. We were somehow. We were on 1 under. So at this point, I'm doing the math. I'm like, all right, we're 5 under. We're 3 under through 3. I was like, we're 8 under, with scramble holes ahead of us. And, we're playing good. Probably should have hit a better shot in there on 4, make par. But 5, I drained a 25-foot birdie putt. So now I'm like, we're 9 under. We still have 5. We still have 4 scramble holes to play. Now they are the toughest ones. And then we just proceeded to fucking par out. And it was just, we couldn't get anything close. The wind picked up so much.
Yeah.
And we had, and I swear to God, if you would have asked, if you were like, Justin, what's your most awkward yardage? I'd tell you 110 yards.
Okay. I get that.
I don't like hitting full 56. Mm-mm. No one should ever hit full wedges. But, my gap wedge is, 130, so it's kind of really have to, baby it so I don't, hit it too far. And we had 108 to 111, 3 of the 4 holes, and in the last 4 hole scramble holes. And we just parred out, then we get to the last hole and pump it out of bounds. But at that point, once we knew we were only 4 under to scramble, I figured we needed about 6, which in hindsight, we would have needed about 6 and not bogey the last hole, which would have, I still think we should have came up a shot short of winning. Yeah. But we had a stretch there where it was signs of life, and then, that wind just, kind of took it out of us. But one was bad. We kind of bitched at each other all day, and I don't know how. I know you guys were kind of at that after the 9, kind of had fun, but I think it was once we knew we were okay, we're back in it. We kind of just got super negative attitudes. It was kind of, I don't know, it just kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest. It didn't make a lot of sense, but
yeah, I don't really know where that flipped. Honestly, it was when you guys didn't birdie 6 in the scramble.
Yeah,
that was
which
tough. Look, I followed you right down that hole on that hole because that was the 5th lip out I had on the day. And I mean, probably 3 or 4 of those I think are should have gone in. The one where I touched the hole, whatever, it's going to run by.
Yeah, you had a lot of lip.
I had a 360 right back in my face.
Yeah.
At that point, I was just kind of fed up.
You did. But
regardless,
it was a great tournament. I think, 93.75 won it.
Yeah, something
which is that's with adjustments, but that's, what is that, 15 or 14.25 under in 27 holes.
108 or...
Yeah, par's 108.
Yeah, okay.
Pretty good playing.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's always a fun event, and just wish it would have gone better for at least one of us. At least last year, it's you guys didn't play good, but at least we won.
Right.
It's it just didn't seem to go good for either of us. It's certain, and we never played well at the same time.
No.
It was if you guys were playing well, we were playing like shit. If we were playing like shit, you guys were playing well. So
I wish we could have just given you our best ball score, and they could have propped you up a little bit.
I don't know. What'd you guys shoot in best ball? 32?
We wound up 3 under because we bogeyed the
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so you guys
are
are 33. That would have definitely helped us more than the 36, but
yeah,
probably still not enough to win.
No. All right, well, before we move on to pro golf, you got any other golf coming up? This is kind of the wind down period into the fall.
I got the GCGA Mid-Am next week.
Nice.
Right up the street here at Beckett Ridge. And other than that, I don't really have anything until September when I go out of town for the Tri-State Invitational. But that's this is pretty much it. This kind of, like you said, school's coming back in. It's kind of winding down.
We're so close to football.
We're close to football. We're also close to no golf, and that is.
I know the closest. You and I are sad boys in winter for sure.
I get the winter blues so fucking bad. Oh. And wait until we start having episodes in the winter. You're gonna hear how sad I am in my voice.
Yeah.
I'm already feel like I'm talking sad because I know it's coming to an end.
I know. We just got to hold on tight. Anyway, speaking of holding on tight, that's what Lucas Glover did yesterday,
and so did his pants.
Did his pants hold on tight? I don't know what his pants were doing, but they weren't doing him favors.
I think the best best meme I saw about it is Lucas Glover's pants is like a bag of fries from Five Guys. How good is that?
That's perfect.
That is
because look, I mean, we've seen some swass on tour before.
Because this, especially in August, it's just so hot, right? Yeah. And you have to wear pants.
I mean, Memphis in August is setting up for failure. But dude, he had the the front sweat too.
Yeah, it was.
What do we call? Is that like swatch, like sweat crotch, like swamp crotch? Swass and swatch.
He definitely wasn't wearing secret deodorant on his junk or his butt. Because that would have protected him a little bit. I think he would have still had it, but it wouldn't have been that bad.
I don't know what brand or whatever he's got on there, but
I think he's Johnny. He's Johnny O. I think is his sponsor.
Okay,
but I don't know if they make pants. Maybe they do. I have no idea.
But you gotta. This is also awareness on his whether he did his own scripting or whoever.
Khaki,
you cannot go the light
pants.
Khaki. No, never.
And I said it on Twitter last night. Like after the USM qualifier this year when it was 97 degrees and I had to walk 30. I threw those shorts out.
Yeah,
like those pants got to go. There's nothing Tide can do for you. There's nothing spray and wash can do for you at that point. They you got to burn them, trash them. Yeah. Don't do trash because that poor garbage guy's just gonna get.
Oh,
those things smelled so bad too.
Had to.
But enough about his pants. He played really good golf again for the second week in a row.
Yeah, 2 wins in a row. He beats Patrick Cantlay in a playoff after Cantlay pumps in the water on 18. Just some things about Lucas Glover here. So the man is 43 years old. I think he's been on tour for about 20 years now.
Yeah.
He's 30th in the world golf rankings right now, which his best was he got up to 15th in the year he won the U.S. Open in 2009.
Yeah,
So this is probably, I didn't go back year by year, but it's pretty much the highest he's been since then. And he jumps all the way up to 4th in the FedEx Cup standings. So right now he's 4th among John Rahm's first, then Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Lucas Glover, Patrick Cantlay. Go ahead. What do you got?
We're going to do this game for you now.
Oh, shit.
And you may have seen this, but
okay.
So out of the last 22 rounds for Lucas Glover, how many of those do you think were over 70? 70 or over?
I might have seen this. I think there's one.
Correct.
He shot a 71 amongst a bunch of 60
We'll go the other direction. How many of those scores are 65 or better?
65 or better?
Mm-hmm.
4?
9.
Lordy. I didn't realize that.
I mean, that's how you win twice on PGA Tour.
My God.
It's unbelievable. And look, I sent it in the text. Or I think I sent it to somebody. Someone just sent that to me. A listener sent it to me. And I was like, if he does not make the Ryder Cup team, I riot. You can't leave that out. He's the hottest golfer in the world. Period.
The Ryder Cup's 6 weeks away.
Doesn't matter.
I think it matters.
I don't think it does.
Okay, but hold on.
But back to him. But I just wanted his last 22 rounds, even though he's won twice, but he's been up there, clearly.
So to finish the point in the Ryder Cup, he jumped 19 spots up to 16th.
Yeah.
So still behind. I think he's right behind Denny McCarthy, who came DFL this week. I think he's out.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
JT is still sitting at 14th, but obviously
didn't even play.
Can't earn any points. He's probably, honestly, it's right there in that Keegan conversation. If he's still, you know what I mean?
I bet if you look at Keegan's last 22 rounds, they don't look like that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just.
And God forbid, he didn't even have to play this week, and I think he's going to play.
He should.
You got to go for 3 wins in a row. It's a very short list of people that have ever done that.
Oh, he's just got to go get at this point, you're just trying to get the bag. You got to try to stay in that top.
If you're
5.
playing
there's 18 million up for grab.
Yeah. And you have to. If he starts with a lead, let's just say, I think I read it. It was if he finishes top 3 this week, he could actually jump into second place. If he wins, he could actually jump in the first, depending on what. I think Rahm's leading right now.
Yes.
Depending on what Rahm does, if he wins and Rahm, I think is outside the top 10, he would actually be first in FedEx points.
I think Rahm was in the 30s this week. Didn't have a super good week. So.
No, but it's you get him with a lead. The guy doesn't even need a lead. He just builds his own leads. I don't know. It's just amazing. Good for him, man. 44 years old too. It's guys usually get to their 40s and there's no recreating, what you had when you're in your 20s and 30s. And this guy seems to be doing it. It's freaking amazing.
I'm just gonna say it. Like, long putters, we need to ban them. We have to.
Yeah, anchor, no anchor. Like, I'll tell you this. Like, there is science to, while it's not anchored, it's like, just get one of those and try to take it off plane. It's almost impossible.
My whole thing with it is
even with it not anchored.
It's the only club in the bag that is like, you can do it a different way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. You can, like, Matt Fitzpatrick chips cross-handed, whatever. Bryson's
there was a guy that played in the U.S. Open that
length.
chipped one-handed and stuff like that.
But it's an
ultimately,
entirely
the
different.
Still the
yes,
same.
It's an entirely different movement when you have the long putter.
It is, because you're using that arm, and it's almost just the only thing you're doing is moving it on a pendulum.
Just rocking the shoulders, basically. I mean, there were some people trying to, like, post pictures and videos of, like, oh, he's anchoring because they can see, like, the impression of, like,
or
the
his
buttons
shirt's
on his
hanging down or something.
He's not anchoring it.
He's not.
But I think it's all. It's
either going to be this year or next year. They're going to be gone, I would think.
So I saw this. This was Justin Ray, and this was after last week's win, so it doesn't even count what he did this week. Which he gained what? I think I wrote it down here somewhere. Like 3 strokes putting this week.
Jesus.
So before that,
and he's already one of the world's best ball strikers. If you ask anybody on tour, everybody says he is like the elite of ball striking.
He's pretty much his entire career spent like in the top 20 to 30
and shots gained approach. Yeah,
exactly. Anyway, before adding the long putter, he was losing almost a shot per round, and only had about 31% of his rounds positive strokes gained putting. He goes and tells him to make this putter that Adam Scott is using. They're both a disgrace, by the way. Since adding a long putter, he's gaining 2/3 of a shot per round, and 72% of his rounds are positive stroke gain putting. And that was before this weekend when he gained 3.
And then, of course, that you sent it, the video pops up from when he had a putt to shoot 59.
My God.
Where he, like, heel fucks like a
that would have been a
right
shank
putt.
if it was a, like, real swing. Absolutely. He almost missed.
That is what the yips look like. If you're ever looking for, like, what do the yips look like? Go look at that putting stroke he made when he was going to shoot 59. That's what the yips are.
And all right, so I wanted to look into this just because more reason for the putters needing to be banned here.
I agree.
This year, despite all of this recent success with this putter, he's still 160th on tour in strokes gained putting. Last year, he finished 189th. The year before that, 137. The year before that, 163. And then back in 2018, 2019, he went God mode with putter and finished 57th stroke gained putting, apparently. I don't know what he was doing.
I was going to ask you what was his highest finish, but I would guess that's probably
pretty close to what it is. That's just the last 5 years. But, like, I mean, you're talking 3 of those years.
He's a habitual bad putter.
Yeah.
That has now all of a sudden become a good putter.
Now, maybe it's a hot streak. I don't know. But I would venture to say that this...
Look, Adam Scott's been using that putter, and I don't know what his putting stats look like, but I most certainly don't think he's won twice in a row this year using that putter, and I've seen him hit some really bad putts with that putter. So it's probably a little bit of a hot streak. Probably a little bit of a should they be using these putters or not conversation.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think it's more timing for him because it's like, you know, everybody saw the putt that he missed in the U.S. Open qualifier, and then all of a sudden it's like the guy's like unbelievable from 30 feet and in with this putter.
I mean, some of the putts he made yesterday, like the
bogey putt he made. It's
after
like 29 feet.
Completely blocked into the water and just buries it for bogey. I was like, I thought he was dead at that point, and then nope,
here he comes. But I don't know. I think it's pretty cool, regardless of the putter. I think you're just never going to see anything like this again. Shit, Tiger didn't even do this stuff at this age. I mean, I know he's had some more injuries and stuff like that, but
it's just crazy. Like,
that's always been the missing piece for him is putting. I mean, he is. Everybody since he's had this run, I obviously listened to a lot of podcasts, and everybody's like that has played on tour and has played with him. He is by far the best ball striker on tour, and the only person that was close, or the only person that was better than him that they've played golf with was Tiger Woods. They're like, that's how good of a ball striker he is. with the no gloves. I think that bothers me more than the putter. I'm sitting here watching. It's 110 degrees out, and this guy has no glove on.
I mean, Guenth is another fellow no glovesman, but he's got the rosin bag out there with him a lot. So I wonder. I mean, maybe Lucas
was dipping his hands in the coolers.
Yeah, I saw that too. What the? Oh my god!
Apparently, it's good for like your body temperature. Like that cools your body temperature down quicker than anything is to put your hands or feet in water. Obviously, you're not going to take your shoes off and dump your feet in the water cooler, but.
Yeah, just crazy. I think I saw, obviously he had the U.S. Open win, but he had 4 wins over like 20-year career, and then he's had 2 in the last 2 weeks here.
But I'm telling you, I'm going to die. That is the hill I'm going to die on is Lucas Glover to the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that could happen with these last 2 tournaments. You could have, I don't think it's going to happen because he looks lost, but like Tony Finau could go win the next 2 weeks or something crazy, and boom, he's on the team. Pass him up.
I find it hard to believe, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's things that can happen. Also, quick note on Ryder Cup, Max with his finish bumped up into the 6th spot right now.
Yeah, I saw
Xander
that.
dropped to 7, so both those guys are on the team.
I think those guys are pretty much on regardless.
But, yeah, just kind of one little big shakeup. On notables, Patrick Cantlay, playoff Patty. Forget Patty Ice. It's playoff Patty.
Oh, God.
I text you guys yesterday. Okay.
I dread when he's near the top of the leaderboard.
We're going to see in a second after we run through the names on this list of notables, but like there was a point yesterday where I was like 5 of the top 6 or something were like my guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah, let's go. I was like, we just need Lucas to get a little shaky down the stretch, and we'll get, Rory's up there, Spieth, Max, Tommy Fleetwood, all these guys that I'm always around and on. And then I text you guys I think this is probably around like hole 10 or 11. And I was like, we are on playoff Patty high alert right now. And sure enough,
I will tell you this,
there.
when I turned it on, I think they were on I watched Lucas make that putt on 15 with that par putt on 15. And I turned it on like right after he made that. So he was walking to 16 tee, the par 5. When I saw, I was like, okay, Tommy Fleetwood still got a chance, but this is a 2-horse race. Instantly turned into rooting for Lucas and not rooting for
naturally
Cantlay. Like I wanted nothing to do with a Patrick Cantlay win.
I think he's won 3 of the last 5 FedEx Cup playoff events I saw.
Year, right?
I can't remember if that was last year or the year before, but yeah, I mean, the guy does not show up in majors, and then he's going to come out here when the most money of the season's on the line.
You got to get $18 million involved. It's a little different.
The free crack giveaway for Patrick Cantlay. One other thing, too, speaking of majors, did you see Lucas Glover? I didn't realize didn't play in a major this year.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I saw that.
I think he would be like the only player ever, if he were to make the Ryder Cup team, to have not played in a major within the same season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was the alternate at the U.S. Open. He didn't get in.
Yeah, just, crazy.
That's
crazy,
nuts.
Crazy.
Tommy had a chance. Tommy T3,
dude,
pretty good. Man, he's almost as bad as Rory. It's just like he's there, but like not quite over the hump.
It feels different with the two of them, though. To me,
yeah. To me, it's like Tommy feels like it's gonna come at some point.
See, I feel the opposite.
Oh, really?
I
think Tommy's gonna get a win eventually.
Like I know Rory. We always talk about Rory like not making putts or whatever, but like Tommy legitimately does not make putts
he doesn't make
on
anything.
Sunday unless he's unless he's out of it and he's going to shoot 63 in the U.S. Open and it won't matter.
I guess we can kind of tie these two together. They both T3'd Rory and Tommy.
Yeah.
And I mean Rory, it was a bogey 365 on Sunday. It's not like he played bad.
I know.
It's just like it just seems like one shot short, with him. And I shouldn't say I don't think Rory's going to win it. He's obviously going to win it again.
Yeah.
But I think if you asked me who could win one of specifically the BMW, because the last tournament's kind of weird, I would tell you that I think Tommy has a better chance than Rory. He's kind of whenever something like this happens to him, it seems like this is a step forward towards him winning again, and then it's like the next week it's like 2 steps back. He kind of did it with the U.S. Open.
I guess it depends on how the BMW plays. If you told me it plays hard, I would pick Tommy. But if it's a little bit of a score fest, I would rather have Rory.
Yeah, Olympia Fields. I don't really remember.
Last time
Olympia
it played
Fields.
hard as shit. It's the one where Rom and DJ were dueling down the stretch, and they both made those crazy putts.
Oh yeah.
I think he was only like Rom won. He was like 2 or 3 under.
Yeah,
like
it was pretty difficult. I don't know what the rain situation is like up there, but if it gets firm, and I remember that year it was firm.
Yeah,
it could probably be pretty tough.
So again, Justin Ray just the best with all these stats and nuggets. This was Tommy Fleetwood's 22nd top 5 finish on the PGA Tour, most of any player on the tour without a win the last 40 years.
Holy crap.
He is the first player in PGA Tour history to surpass $20 million in official career earnings without a win. And he's also won 6 times on the DP World Tour, though. Someone asked, they wanted to have it be put in perspective in terms of like who has won, like where those numbers stack up. So he is tied for 23rd in top 5 finishes since his first on the PGA Tour back in 2015. Rory and JT are tied for the most in that span with 49 apiece.
Wow.
So he's been around. He's
been on the edge.
Lot.
I mean,
and it's just always like a shot or two. Like, and it's like, I think the difference is when I talk about like, I'd rather have Rory in this scenario. Tommy like seems to. It's like, so yesterday he tries to play, like, lay up with an iron, like, make the safe play, and then bones himself. Same thing he did at the Canadian Open, where he's like, I'm not going to hit driver. Well, then he, like, messes up the layup.
He left himself so far back.
He missed, like, a 2 or 3 foot putt yesterday, too.
I know.
And it just feels like there's just, like, always, like, that one thing. With Rory, I feel like it's more of it's a weird thing because I think a 4-round tournament both lets his skill level rise and also it seems like he can't keep enough focus for 72 holes.
Correct. Yeah,
I
agree with that.
It's like a combination of those two factors. That's what I put him down here mainly because I was like, you got Scotty finished tied for 31st. Rom was like T37 or something, and Rory is just like consistently top 10ing like everything all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
It's crazy. His consistency, especially in the biggest events, is just wild. It's probably the closest thing that we've seen to Tiger in terms of...
For sure. Yeah. As far as just, like, consistent.
Just, like, always kind of being there.
Yep.
We got to talk about Spieth. T6. Gets the first round lead, shoots 7 under, and ends up, I think he was 11 under for the tournament. Man after my own heart. Absolutely Waffle House to 3-wood on 15.
I saw the replay of it. I didn't get it on in time to watch him actually do it, but...
Just instant.
And then he hit it in the water on 18, too.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a Waffle House, but he hit it in the water.
No, the one on 15 was smothered and covered into the water. It's just the roller coaster, the Spieth roller coaster. We know what it is. We should know by now.
I mean, if you're in his fan club like we are, you just expect it, and then anything different than that is a nice welcome surprise.
Yeah, also T6, our guy Max, 2 doubles in the back 9.
Yeah.
And dude, it was like the announcer's curse, only the graphic curse, I guess, because they flashed up as they made the turn. He was like the most under par on the back 9 in the entire field for the week. And it was just like instant double. And the one was just like kind of sloppy. The other one, I think he rinsed one.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. He birdied the next hole after the first one, and then I think a hole or two later he made an eagle after the second one. So dude grinds. I love Max.
Yeah. Oh,
it's the best.
Yeah, he's. I hope he's around forever because he's kind of like a nice change of pace to, you have your Rorys and your Roms, and like while they don't say it, like they walk around like, I'm like a top 5 talent in the world, right? Mm-hmm. Well, Max is a legit top 10 talent in the world, right? Like he is legit top 10 talent, and like I think he had an interview, and someone had asked him like, about his play and this and that and his rise, and he was just like, I'm not even that good. Like he was like, I'm not even that good. Like pretty much. I love it but I like that attitude because it's like one, it shows like he knows, like he has it, but like he, there's obviously some more. He's got a high ceiling.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like it would not surprise me sometime in the next 2 years if you're like, oh, he's got 4 wins this year. One of them might be a major. Like, that's how high his ceiling truly is. And hopefully he finds it. He didn't have a good major season. I mean, outside the Open. But
yeah, it feels
love him to death.
Yeah, getting that top 10 at the Open, hopefully means good
springboard.
things for next year, right?
Yep.
One last one, I already mentioned, T31 for Scotty. He made a putter change this week.
God.
I think he gained shots the first 2 rounds putting, and then immediately minus 4.42 in round 3. So that's...
Pull the ejection. Just...
We're,
that's bad. Minus 4.42 is... that's not good.
I think he was still in the top 15 in both like tee or approach and off the tee. So like he's still striking it really well. Just this putter thing is wild.
Yeah, I don't... And that's the thing is like it wasn't even that long ago. It's, if you asked me who you'd want putting a 10-footer to save your life, it'd been him.
Yeah.
Now it's like, dude, I don't even want you near the putting green.
No.
Much less have a putter in your hands.
It's crazy. I think it really goes to show just like how mental putting
is 95% mental.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some small fundamental stuff that you have to have, but I mean, it's 95% mental. And when it's going good, it goes... Perfect example, Lucas Glover. When it's going good, that cup looks like, the size of a car. When it's going bad, it looks like you're putting in one of those, the training aids where the cup is like one ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when it's not going well. That's what the cup looks like, And I think we've all been there at some point.
Oh no,
maybe his is such a different level of like, he would probably still be one of the best putters we've ever seen in real life, but. It's amazing how quickly it can just leave you.
Oh, I know.
All right, let's get on to the important stuff here.
Who needed the back 9 6-pack this week? It's getting tougher when you get these short fields. It's kind of hard to... You're not going to have too many guys that are like full on, throwing up 80s and whatnot. But I think I have 2 interesting candidates because the thing with the back 9 6-pack, as we discussed before, it can either be... to keep momentum or to spark momentum.
Yes.
Right?
One of the two.
There's 2 ways to go about it. And we got 2 different representatives of that here. Both in round 2. 2 guys that tied for 66 on the week, actually. Denny McCarthy and Wyndham Clark. So let's talk through this because I'm curious what you're thinking. We'll start with Denny. Denny, actually in the first round, shot 3 under, looking pretty good. He's probably floating around top 20 in that. Goes out, starts on the front 9 on round 2, and shoots 33, 2 under.
Respectable.
This is the time when you get the back 9 6-pack to keep the momentum going.
You're a good back 9 away from being, top 10.
Yeah. At this point, he's 5 under on the tournament. Definitely floating around the top 10 area. Doesn't do it clearly because...
It goes the opposite way.
Bogey on 10, double on 11, doesn't make a birdie the rest of the way, and cleans it up with a nice tidy double on 18 for a back 940. So 73, not awful, but gives back the good work from round 1. And like I said, ends up just kind of floundering through the tournament, almost DFL. Now the flip side of this is Wyndham Clark. Not sure what he did in round 1, to be honest with you, but in round 2, he starts on the back 9.
Two over making the turn, right?
2 over making the turn with a 37. A couple birdies in there, but made a double, just whatever. You got to get the back 9 6-pack to flip the mo in this situation, right?
Oh, 100%.
He absolutely did not do that as he comes out and bogeys his first 5 holes, making the turn to the front 9. This is a slow bleed, and you just know. The problem is once you get into the third bogey and it's on a par 5, you're like, I fucked up.
This is going the other direction.
Yeah, you're like, you know what? I didn't do it, and I should have.
There's no stopping this runaway train.
I think what he did, because he birdied the 6th hole, there was either someone out there on a cart giving out some beers, or he went over to a hospitality tent and threw one back real quick and salvaged a birdie out of there. But anyway, 37-39 for 76.
Look, the bogey train is a winner in my book.
That's mine too.
That's a tough bogey train. I mean, 5 in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like someone's like, I'm going to slice your throat, but I'm going to paper cut it open. That's exactly what that bogey train is.
Yeah, that's the slow bleed, and those hurt way worse.
Like just paper cut and paper cut until you're bleeding out all over the ground. That's what that bogey train is.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a year where he's collected a designated event and a U.S. Open trophy. This one hopefully can go on the shelf with those 2.
Right next to him.
Because I think Wyndham Clark needed the back 9 6-pack this week.
Yes. Yep. Congratulations. Put this right next to the U.S. Open trophy.
Someone who doesn't have a U.S. Open trophy. Phil Mickelson. We've been kind of waiting for this Billy Walters autobiography to come out because we knew there was some good stuff on Phil in there. And a lot of stuff kind of got out there and made the rounds on social media.
Yeah, and then some old stuff from when who wrote the other book, Alan Ship.
Has that one come out yet? I don't know if it has.
No, but they brought out excerpts and stuff like that from the
excerpts,
book.
Yeah,
and then obviously once those come out, people start telling their Phil stories, right? It's like,
yep.
And obviously a bunch of guys. So all the old stuff started coming out. It's a lot of stuff starting to come back out, old and obviously new, right? But so we talked a little bit about this before we come on. So I do want to repeat this.
Okay.
Everything's perspective, right? At the time that he was betting like this, he was making about $60 million a year between endorsements and, whatever the hell else he was doing. 50 to 60 million. Well, in terms of what he was making per year, these $100,000 bets, $125,000 bets was no different than someone that makes $100,000 a year making $125 bet on a football game. The 125 doesn't seem so bad, but in terms of like actual percentage of money that's being made, they're about the same, right? Now it obviously looks a lot worse because there's obviously rumors that he didn't pay Bones money that he owed him, and he was in gambling debts and all this stuff. So in terms of like actual percentages, he wasn't being like super, super irresponsible, right? With the actual amounts that he was betting based on the amount of money he was making. But it's also not good when, your caddy of how many years says he didn't pay him, and then you start hearing all these other stories about all this debt he's in. That's why I think it's like, I can understand why people are like upset about it and stuff like that. I think it's fucking hilarious. Like, he is one of us. Like, me and you are degenerates, right? Like, we get that. We were betting on preseason NFL games.
Whoa.
No, we bet on a preseason NFL game, okay?
It was the first football game.
I don't care. That's degenerate behavior right there. I think it's hilarious. I don't know how you feel. Like, I think it's funny. And I think it's funny when you hear the stories that come out. So my favorite one was the Vegas story. I don't know if you've heard this. So I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago. Him and like 5 of his friends were in Phoenix. They were going to take his private jet to Vegas for the opening day of football. They leave in the morning.
Oh,
they get to Vegas. They're up in the room. They're like, all right, we're going to go down and place bets. And Phil's like, everybody go in front of me because the bets I'm about to make are going to move lines. Which is that is the biggest fucking flex, by the way. Like, everybody make your bets in front of me because this -2.5 is about to go to plus or -3.5 after I bet it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's hilarious. But anyway, so they go down, make bets. He makes like 8 or 9 bets. I think he goes like 8-1 in the morning. So he's up. Like, and they were 6-figure bets. Like, right. All these were 6-figure bets. He goes like 8-1. So they watch a little bit of like the 4 o'clock games, like the later games. And he's like, all right, let's hit the tables before we head out. Because they weren't staying. They were just day trip, go back. He's like, oh, I'm going to play. Like, they're kind of all go their separate ways. He goes and plays Baccarat. And apparently they had to fucking pull him off the table. And they pull him off the table and he gets done. And like one of the guys on the trip's like, hey, how much did you end up winning today? He was like, well, he goes, I'm not up anymore.
Ooh. So
you think you do the math. He probably was up $1.5 million after the 1 o'clock games. So he lost over $1.5 million at a fucking Baccarat table in Vegas.
Oh my God.
And apparently he was like all pissy on the way home and stuff, like on their flight home. Like, that was my favorite story. That was an older one that kind of came back out.
Yeah. So for anyone who hasn't heard, just to put some punctuation points on this, from the book, Walters wrote that from 2010 to 2014, Phil made 858 bets of $220,000 and 1,115 bets of 110,000.
One of us.
He estimates that Phil endured losses of approximately $100 million while betting more than $1 billion over the past 3 decades. Now, that's an estimate, so who knows? But this guy was pretty closely tied to Phil and, all of this. So
yeah, and I think he had said in some of the stuff that came out for the book that he was trying to tell him, like, I'm not taking any more bets from you. Like, because he was just like, stop betting. Like, this is getting out of control kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of money. Like, $1 billion, he is way richer than you and I and most of our friends combined will ever be. But $1 billion, that's like betting almost a Fortune 500 company in gambling.
Yeah.
Like, that's hefty.
So one of the rumors from the book was that, Walters claims that, Phil contacted him trying to bet on the 2012 Ryder Cup. He wanted to place $400,000 on them to win. And Billy Walters apparently just told him, like, have you lost your mind? Like, do you remember Pete Rose? Like, you cannot place this bet and I want no part of it. And so there's no confirmation whether he ever did place that bet or not, but Billy was not involved with that one if he did. And then Phil actually made a statement in response to all this. He says, I never bet on the Ryder Cup. While it is well known that I always enjoy a friendly wager on the course, I would never undermine the integrity of the game. I have also been very open about my gambling addiction. I have previously conveyed my remorse, took responsibility, have gotten help, and have been fully committed to therapy that has positively impacted me, and I feel good about where I am now. So I read that to say, look, I'm glad if that was the case that he got help and he's in a much better place. However, the cynic side of me says Phil Mickelson is like the prime example of someone who knows what to say and when to say it.
Oh, fuck it. And he's got publicists and shit, dude. I mean,
so take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but obviously, look, if he had problems with that, I'm glad that, he took...
No, and this goes for anything, right? Nothing is a problem in your life until it's
a problem.
No, until it starts affecting other people, right? So, like, if it's true that he didn't pay Bones because he was probably in gambling debts, that's a problem, right? Like, if you're betting money that you know you cannot lose, that's when it's a problem. Like, we joke, right, about us being degenerates and stuff like that. But, like, I don't think at any point we ever bet money that it's like, oh, my God, if I don't win this bet, like, I'm not going to be able to make my mortgage payment.
God, no.
Or I'm not going to be able to pay my, like, we don't have employees, but I'm not going to be able to pay my employees. Like,
sure.
That's when it becomes a problem. The whole Ryder Cup thing, and I know this is, look, I probably stand, and you know how big of a Pete Rose guy I am. Like, I love Pete Rose. I never really got to see him play baseball, but watching highlights growing up, like, he's the ultimate competitor. My favorite number is 14 because of him. I don't have a problem if you're betting on yourself to win, right? No problem with that because you're not going to throw it. You have money. Like, you're not going to throw it, sure. Right? You have money on yourself to win. Now, if you bet yourself to lose, you're a fucking asshole and you deserve every bit of hate you get.
Right.
We bet on ourselves this weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know it's a club event, but it's like, right. We bet on ourselves. So I never understood the hate of, like, this guy placed a bet for his team to win. Well, he's not going to fucking go out there and throw it if he's got money on his team that he's playing on to win. Now, if he bet them to lose and he's out there fucking fumbling the ball around and shit like that, or, hitting balls OB in his case, that's a whole different story. But if he's betting on himself and his team to win, there's not going to be any integrity things there because he's going to fucking try. He might even try harder to win. So that whole thing, I'm like, that is always overblown. The whole I know Pete Rose, there's some questions about what he bet on. We won't get too much into that. But if he was like literally betting on his team that he's playing on to win, I don't see that as an integrity thing. Like, he's playing on the team. He's not going to fucking throw an event that he bet on his team to win. Like, I see no problem in that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't do the flip side. That's the obvious.
Yeah, but I've never understood that people get mad about it. I'm like, they're not going to throw a game where they have their money on themselves. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I get why people are upset about it. I do. I understand, but
yeah, I just am interested to see all of what comes out from between this book and the Shipnuck book, and It's just all golf drama that I'm here to listen to.
But, the thing that I'll say about this is, like, obviously that's been made public. How many side bets and shit do you think these guys
Oh, my God, yeah.
Is that against the integrity of the Ryder Cup?
He even mentions the friendly wagers, right, in his statement there. Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, Rahm goes out and plays Scheffler 2 years ago. No one knows. They might have had a side bet. Like, hey, we're playing for, $1,000 auto 2 downs, this and, like, you don't know what they were playing for. They could have easily been playing for money and you would have had no idea. But they're betting on themselves. So that's where it's like, I don't know. He's obviously in the spotlight now because all this stuff come out, and I think he's getting way more hate than he probably deserves for this.
Yeah, and I think to your point, it's more about the situation surrounding it and like the possible addiction, and there was some stuff with like some offshore books, and he was involved in insider trading. That stuff. Yeah. It's all kind of interrelated, I think. With Phil.
That stuff too, and like I said, like. If he truly didn't pay bones because he's in gambling debts, that's a problem. You're a shithead for doing that.
Yeah.
Like, because you can't control yourself, he doesn't get paid. That's when it's a problem. Right. But if it doesn't hurt anybody else and you're gambling money that you don't really care to lose, like, who cares if you bet $1 billion? He obviously didn't lose all of his bets.
Yeah, I mean, it's his money to do what he wants with it. As long as, to your point,
again, like,
it's not harming anyone else.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. But like, if it's true that he didn't pay people that he was supposed to pay because he had these gambling debts, that's a problem.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I can't wait. I'm definitely going to... I don't read many books. We discussed this last week, but I think I'll definitely read this book because I'm very interested.
You can do an audiobook. There you go.
Yeah, let's actually read it.
All right. I think it's time. We're heading to the patio.
And I know
where anything goes.
I know for a fact that you went first last week because I said, I went, and then you corrected me. So I let you go first last week.
The one time in the history of patio beers that I knew who went first. Yeah.
So school's going back. Clearly noted. I had open houses to go to today. Your wife goes back to school tomorrow. So made me think about what is like a moment or a story from a first day of school that you vividly remember, whether it was like embarrassing or probably embarrassing is probably more the line I'm thinking, but it doesn't have to be embarrassing, but like a moment that sticks out in your head from a first day of school of yours.
Wow. I was not expecting that kind of question. I don't even know if I can remember anything from that long ago at this point, to be honest.
I can tell you mine's from the most recent school that I was in. So mine's from college. I remember other stories, but this one was pretty embarrassing.
I don't know if this one's embarrassing, but I remember it because, all right, so freshman year of college, I went to OU for my freshman year, Ohio University. Noted party school. I actually got up there a day earlier than my roommate, so I was just in the dorm by myself. But I knew a couple other people that were there, and I knew they were up there early, so I was trying to arrange to meet up with them. It was like a Thursday night, so this is like my first night of college, first night I'm going to attempt to go out at college. I don't have many details about this, but I think you know me well enough, the unbelievable fish out of water that I was rolling up to some girl's house and then going to a frat party. I think my first night out at college lasted probably maybe an hour. And I was like, I can't do this. And I just went back to my dorm and just watched TV or whatever the hell else I was doing, played video games. Shit. I don't know. So that sticks out in my mind. This didn't happen to me, but this is a funny story from my childhood that I vividly remember. And my parents still tell this story. It's about my brother. His first day of preschool, I can't remember if my mom or dad went to pick him up, but he goes to preschool and they go to pick him up and he gets in the car and they ask hey, what, buddy, how was your day or whatever? He's like, oh man, it was good. I'm really glad I don't have to do that again though. Proceeds to have, 14 more years of school ahead of him. Just an all-time quote. So I can't think of anything embarrassing on the first day or anything like that, but those two things are what came to mind when you asked.
So I've got two of them.
Right.
I'll give you my one, and then I'll give you my honorable mention.
Okay.
I think the more I kept thinking about it, I think my honorable mention might be better, but we'll start with the one that I chose. I missed my first class on the first day of school in college. Overslept, was going to be like 30 minutes late, just made the executive decision that would be too embarrassing to walk in 30 minutes late. Just didn't go. Like,
yep.
And this is literally tail ending. I remember we used to have a team meeting every when we come back for summer, we had a team meeting for the golf team. The big spiel was like, we go to class. And I fucking missed my first class. And
that's on brand. That's on brand, though.
You know, it's so funny if you ask my college coach, like the degrees of which he started liking me, freshman first semester, Justin, I'm pretty sure if he could go back in a time machine and murder me, he probably would have. Now we love each other now, and we really like the next semester we were good. But that was shithead Justin on full display.
Yeah.
Because unlike you, I didn't leave college parties after an hour.
Yeah.
I closed them down. I didn't. That's the thing. The worst part about that story is I wasn't even hungover. Like, I just fucking missed it, dude. Just like not responsible. Just didn't set an alarm. Fucking didn't go.
Tough.
Like not on purpose. I didn't not go on purpose. Just wasn't responsible enough to set an alarm at 18 years old. Apparently.
Yeah.
My runner-up. I remember, so in Lakota, 7th, 8th grade is middle school.
Yeah.
Well, where we went, like 6th, 7th, 8th. 6th grade, first day of school, fucking ripped my shorts. Right in the crotch area. Don't even remember it happening, but I do remember sitting in like my second class that day and looking down and just like, fuck. Like there's a big gash in my crotch right now.
Oh, tough.
It's brand new school. You're low on the totem pole.
Just like absolute formative year. You're already awkward as shit.
Oh, God.
Like,
yeah, you got things growing, maybe not growing.
Your voice is cracking. Yeah.
It was just a tough scene. Man. It was a very tough scene. And then once you know about it, you're fucking nervous the rest of the day. That I was already nervous.
All you can think about.
Yeah. That was brutal. I mean, it was.
Man. Yeah, I don't have anything like that. Thankfully, I guess.
But I was trying to remember before 6th grade. I can't really remember much. I remember that because it was vividly scarred me for a little while. Yeah. No one saw it, but once I knew about it, I'm fucking putting shit on my lap, trying to figure out how I can hide it. It was fucking terrible, man. It was so terrible.
That's bad.
That feeling was just so helpless. And it's and if you remember, middle school is you get done kind of early,
right?
Same amount of time, but I remember thinking, I was like, this day is fucking taking 14 hours.
Yeah.
It was moving so slow as soon as I saw the hole in my crotch.
Yeah, and you have no idea, honestly, who did or didn't see that. And then, the rest of you...
and maybe they were nice enough just to not say anything about it.
Right, but also there are probably people there might be someone out there in the world that, just remembers you as, that kid that ripped his pants. And you just don't know. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing, too, is, you know how our middle schools are, you had some elementary schools that converged into one middle school. So you were there and you didn't know everybody. It wasn't we were at school together last year.
Yeah.
There's people in your grade that you didn't know until today.
Yep.
And here I am walking around fucking ding dong hanging out the crotch.
Oh.
In my pants.
That hurts.
I mean, it was brutal.
Yeah.
I think the missing class one is I'm an adult. I'm finally an adult, and I just couldn't be responsible enough to get up for class. That's what, to me, internally, that was more embarrassing.
Would you rather have your ripped crotch pants or Lucas Glover's pants sweated through on the first day of school?
Give me the ripped crotch all day.
Yeah, I think so too.
You can't hide that sweat. No. Oh my God,
that'd be worse for sure.
Oh God.
All right, my question. Shout out to Matt Hinkle, dedicated listener of the pod. He posted on one of our Instagram posts last week. His question wants to know if we think that I will either shoot par or break par before or after you make a hole-in-one. Now, a couple caveats here. I have shot and broke par on multiple occasions, but only for 9 holes.
Yeah.
My low 18-hole score is 1 over. I think that was at Miami Whitewater.
I told him that. He had asked me that, and I said, I think he shot 73.
And I've my low at the Elks is 2 over. I've shot 74 twice.
Okay.
Now, my lean is that I think I will do it first. However, I will say that's 72 or fewer shots compared to you could hit one shot and it's game over.
Yeah, you got to hold it together for a full round. I just got to hit one good swing and hopefully it goes in the hole.
In one of like 4 holes or whatever.
Statistically speaking, yours is going to happen first.
I think so too.
Because if you look at your handicap and the odds of you breaking par gross are probably like closer to 400 or 500 to 1, right?
Yeah.
But obviously that's not keeping into account that you could actually you'll improve, right?
Sure.
Like that's just like where your handicap is now. You breaking par tomorrow, is like 400 to 1. Well, we know the statistics behind hole-in-ones. They're like it's you're talking like 500 to 1, maybe even closer to 1,000,000 to 1. Statistically speaking, I would agree with that. Effort-wise, mine's probably relatively easier. If I could, I can't find the time to play more golf, but if I could, and it's like I'm going to play 4 times, 5 times a week, I would say that would probably start leaning towards me getting a hole-in-one before you breaking par. But I think it's definitely has to be you breaking par.
Yeah, that's my lean too. But also, I mean, look, you mentioned it on a previous podcast. Like you're probably gonna get around 50 rounds or so in.
Yeah, maybe 60.
So you're looking at like 200
shots,
240 chances at it if you average 4 par threes around.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of opportunities.
That is a lot.
Compared to me, I'm probably going to get in. It's tough to tell with league, but I don't know, maybe 30, 40 rounds, somewhere in that range is probably what I play in a year. Don't practice, so like me getting better is like.
No, but I think like if you get towards the end of the year, you've been playing a lot.
Yeah, I could get it. Could catch a heater round. Yeah,
and you start playing better this time of year. And it's so funny. Like I've only come close once this year. Last year, it felt like every round I had one that was like remotely close to going in. But this year, I haven't really had like close ones.
It's been a long time since I've had a scare. I feel like
it's for me. I think
and
the
part
closest
of that,
I came was like back in May on 3 red. I hit it to like it spun back to like 5 or 6 inches. And the only reason I say it was close because it hit left of it and spun back to the right. And it was like it stopped 5 or 6 inches short of it. So I'm like, that to me is like a scare kind of. But other than that one, I don't think I've had one since that one.
I think this is also a bit of a factor of the course we play too, where like I think we're both less likely to do either of these by playing the majority of our golf where we play it. Because the par threes are kind of quirky. You got like
long too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they're a little difficult and play
and frankly,
weird.
How many times do you play a new course and you're like, there's a par 3 pin position that's like a funnel.
Exactly.
We don't have that on any of our par 3s where it's like, oh, if you hit it here, everything kind of just funnels down. So like if you hit a 5-iron at this and you get it to go into the funnel, you got a pretty good chance at making a hole-in-one.
Right.
There's no hole like that.
No.
There's no pin placement like that on any of the par 3s.
No. And
so that does matter too.
I mean, just by the nature of the greens, like 3 putts just sneak up on you, or you get instead of hitting the green, you spin one back off, and then you got to try to get up and down instead of having a Whereas if I was playing a county course or something, I think I'm much more likely to do it.
100%.
Significantly more likely.
Oh yeah, I would. I mean, like if you go play the Mill right now, like
I bet I'll shoot in the mid-70s.
You're going to shoot in the mid-70s, and if you play decent enough, like you're going to be coming down the last 3 or 4 holes with a chance to break par.
Yeah.
Specifically with 18, which is like a short par 5. Like if you're even par, I'm putting my money on you birdieing that hole because it's only like 480.
Right.
But like
so that's a factor, but
like my home course for college, like we had a par 3 out there. The guy has the Guinness Book of World Records for most hole-in-ones on the same hole, on that hole. Right. Well, there's a fucking pin placement that it's like a horseshoe. Mm-hmm. And when they put the pin down there, dude, it doesn't even matter if you're drawing the ball in there or cutting the ball in there. Like, if you get it in that horseshoe, it's got a legit chance of going in. Like, not taking anything away from that. He had like 17 hole-in-ones on one hole.
God damn.
But Well, think about it. If we had that pin placement and you play 60 rounds a year.
Yeah, you'd at least be scaring it several
you're
times
gonna
a year,
be
right?
you're gonna have at least 6 or 7 scares on that hole alone. Now going in is a different story, but we don't have any pin placements like that where it's like, oh, if I hit it within a 10-foot circle, this is gonna get pretty close. Mm-hmm. We have nothing like that. Nothing. Like not even remotely close to that on any of our par threes.
Yeah.
So that definitely makes it tough.
I mean, we've been out the Elks, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, I'm on my 4th year.
I've heard of 2 hole-in-ones. Both of them happen in our league night. I don't know if you've maybe
I've heard. I've
more.
heard of a ton of other. Like when I played in league before you guys joined, we had a couple the first year I was there, and then I've been up there on Saturdays with people that have had hole-in-ones. But other than that, yeah, I mean, you don't hear of like an abundant amount of hole-in-ones.
Yeah,
like you just don't. I don't know. I would, if I was a betting man, I would definitely, coming off that segment.
If I was a betting man.
Jeez. They're going to get sent to freaking rehab here soon. I would say yours is definitely much, much more likely to happen than mine.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
Like you said, one swing. Like you could legitimately go after this and be like, all right, I'm going to practice for like 3 weeks and go play a scoreable course, and you could probably do it. But if you're talking like at the Elks, could you do it in 3 weeks if you really practice? Like, I think you'd have to play really good, but I think you'd be a chance. But like, I could go out on Wednesday Night League this week and one swing, done.
Yeah.
So I get where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. Anyway, good question, Hinkle.
Really
shout
question.
Out. Appreciate you, man. On that note, I feel like we're pretty safe to wrap it up. You got anything for us here? I mean, the usual. Give us a review, subscribe, follow us on. I think we're close to 100 followers on Instagram right now, which is we're slowly creeping towards.
Yep, follow us on there. Hats sold a couple more over the weekend.
Yeah.
Still have some left, especially white. Blue ones were popular.
I
think we've got like 2 blue ones left.
Told you the Navy, man.
Yeah, everybody likes a good Navy hat. But yeah, hit us up for those. $25 goes to a good cause. It's called us not losing money on hats. That's the cause.
That, hey, maybe make some nice capital investments.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like for us to make a little bit of money and be able to roll out something new.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
we've got, we want to build a website. We want to start doing some video.
Yep.
We've got some plans,
We've got a drone to buy. So
we do. We have a drone to buy. That's right. Which I'm not going to let you fly. I've already decided.
No, look, I think there's someone in the FAA that probably has me on some kind of watch list to not be able to drive a drone. So we're good.
That or TSA. Who knows?
I think that's it for me. Yeah.
Sweet.
Not a lot of golf coming up here, so we're going to have to watch a lot of golf, I think.
I'm dedicating myself these last 5 weeks of league. That's where all my focus and attention is. We're winning some skins coming down the stretch. That's the goal.
Well, I guess I do have the member guest next week, but yeah. But league night, my goal is not to be tied for 11th the rest of the year.
That'd be great too. I'm with you on that.
It's a tough scene when you're giving back 3 shots in 9 holes, though.
Yeah, that's not good. It's not good.
Oh, all right. Well, let's get out of here.
All right. Cheers.
See ya. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 Six-Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 Six-Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.